Hello world, my name is Andy Silvers and today we're going to talk about my film Snapshot. Alright, so I've got really big news regarding my film Snapshot, which is a short film that I produced and developed, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. But first, I want to give you a quick update. For those who don't know, I'm writing a contemporary fantasy novel called Solomon Grando versus the Jupiter Witch, which is still scheduled for release this fall, probably in September. And that book is going really well. I'm working on the cover, the book cover right now. It's been a bit of an interesting process, and I'm planning on making a video talking about the woes of trying to make a professional book cover. It's been a bit more difficult than I was hoping it would be, but the book is coming along really, really well. I'm in the rewrite slash editing phase right now, and it's been a really great process, and I'm really excited to share that book with you in a couple months. So just wanted to give you an update on that. And for any more information about the book and about what I'm up to, please check out www.andysilvers.com. That's my official website. And on social media, check out the Facebook page Andy Silvers Books. That has all the latest updates on the books that I'm writing, and it has the videos that I'm putting out. So be sure to check out that page for any updates. Speaking of Facebook pages, what we're going to talk about a bit today is my Facebook page, Snapshot Film 2020 through 21. That's the name of the Facebook page. And the reason we're going to talk about that is because while I am an author and I am putting out novels, at least one per year, I'm also a filmmaker. So, to give you a bit of backstory here, I've always had a love for film. I've always loved making films and telling stories, which is one of the reasons I like books as well. It's a different medium, but I still get to tell just as compelling of stories. And I can do whatever I want because in a book, you don't have to have $100 million budget. If you want to make a film, like if I wanted to make Solomon Grando as a film, it would probably cost me $100 million. If I want to make Solomon Grando as a book, well, that costs, it costs. I mean, it depends, obviously, but probably like 100 or more, but definitely not 100 million. So I really love telling stories, and basically the movie Enchanted. Some of you may have heard of it. I believe it's 2007. Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey. That was a really big turning point in my young life. I really developed a love for film and storytelling. That film had it all. It had the visual effects. It had costume and makeup and stunts. It was just a way of introducing someone to the world of filmmaking. And a few years ago, I applied to the Zachy Gordon Cinematic Arts program in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I got accepted into the film school. And just a few weeks ago, I graduated from college with a Bachelor of Science in Cinematic Arts, so I'm now official. So I have a degree in cinematic arts, and I've already begun to put that to good use. So basically, in the program, the film program at my school, you leave with a few things sort of in your resume, if you will. So you leave with a feature film screenplay, not the actual film, but a screenplay for the film. And what I decided to do was adapt my novel, Red Sprites and Blue Jets, as a feature film screenplay. So you can check that out on Amazon right now, Red Sprites and Blue Jets. The novel version is available for sale right now. As for the screenplay, that one, I believe you can get a sample of that on my website, andysilvers.com, if you want to check that out. But basically, when I graduated, I had not a perfect, not a refined script, but certainly a completed script for a feature film. The other thing I had, though, was a short film, and this was refined and completed. So basically, I wrote, produced, directed, edited, and color corrected, among a few other things, a full short film with a script and actors, the whole shebang. And that film, for those that don't know, is called Snapshot. So basically, Snapshot tells the story of a young man named Jacob Hyder who discovers through finding an old snapshot in one of his rooms in his house. He discovers that he actually has a sister that he didn't know about. And the reason he didn't know about her is because he and his sister and his parents were in a tragic car accident when they were all young, well, when the children were young. And because he was so young, Jacob doesn't remember it. But now he's paralyzed from the waist down, so he can't walk. And at this point in his life, he's not married, but he is looking to adopt. And then when he discovers he has a sister, he looks her up on social media and he realizes that she works in an adoption agency. And so he basically enlists her help with the adoption process. But the problem is that her worldview is a bit different than his. Her worldview is that adoption is really more for the parents. It's not for the kids. It's not to help provide wonderful families for children. It's more for the parents and whatnot. It's to satisfy their personal interests and desires, if you will. And so her worldview slowly changes over the course of the film because she meets her brother, who is disabled and who also is looking to adopt. And basically, he sort of challenges her worldview, not even always directly, but just his existence and his passion to become a father. Really challenges her worldview. I don't want to give everything away because it's a short film. It's 14 minutes, 25 seconds. But it is a really exciting film, and it's a very personal film because the story is partially inspired from my real life. I am someone with a disability, as you can see in every single one of my videos. I'm missing a left arm. And also, I was adopted myself from a small town called Luga, Russia. A lot of the details about this are mentioned in the Facebook page, Snapshot Film 2020-21. So if you want to find out more, check out that Facebook page and consider following it. But basically, the film is very personal. It's a very emotional and impactful story, I believe. And so basically, upon graduation, I had the film complete, the short film, and I entered it into a bunch of festivals. So I started by entering my film into 3 festivals, and they were all free. Some festivals are free, some are not. The whole festival circuit is a big deal in Hollywood, and it's something that any filmmaker who wants to get their name out there has to do. You have to enter your film into at least one festival. I started out with 3, and I believe they were all free, meaning that the entry fee was $0. I could just enter my film. So I entered it into 3 festivals, and I'm going to take a look here. Alright. Alright. So I entered it into 3 festivals. And one of the festivals was called Mosey Motion. That was the name of the festival. And I entered that, it looks like on May 5th, it looks like. So, a couple weeks ago. And just 2 days ago, I got an email back saying that I had won the festival. My film had received the top prize at the Mosey Motion Film Festival, which is a huge deal. So this gives you what's called in the film industry momentum, right? Being able to say that your film is an award-winning film is a huge deal, and I can add that to my resume from now till the end of time, that I was the writer and director on an award-winning film. So this is a really big deal for me. This is the first award I've ever won for any of my original work, whether it be a book or a film. This is the first one, so it's incredibly exciting. And I'm really excited to share this. And then I feel like I should also mention that my film was also an official selection in the DMOFF, which is the Direct Monthly Online Film Festival. So this is another film festival that I entered recently that I was selected for. This is not a win for this film festival. Being selected is still a big deal because it means that the people in charge of the festival chose your film to be screened at the festival. This matters a lot because when your film is screened, it's screened for other filmmakers, but it's also screened for critics, and it's screened for people who are in the industry. So in other words, this can get you work. If you know anything about the film festival circuit, you can get work when your film is screened at a festival because a lot of producers, agents, talent managers will see it. It's possible that I could receive an opportunity to either produce another film in the future based on this win and inclusion in this festival, or The other possibility is that someone could reach out to me for distribution. So currently, my film Snapshot is not technically distributed anywhere. It's not available online. It's not anywhere. It just exists on my hard drive, effectively. And it's possible that I could receive a request for distribution. Someone could say, "Hey, we love your film. I work at Amazon, and I would like to distribute your film on Amazon Prime." Or I work at Netflix, or I work at this online website. We would like to distribute your film. That's the kind of thing that you can get at a film festival. So it's very big news for me to have won a film festival and to be selected for another one. So I'm very proud of my work here. After that first win, I entered 7 more film festivals, and you can actually enter more than one category for each film festival if it's an option. And so I entered several film festivals. So we will see if I can win any more first place awards. If not, I'm still incredibly proud of my film. I'm incredibly proud of the award that I did win for the Mosey Motion Film Festival. It's a really big deal to even be considered, and it's a really big deal to win. I want to thank several people who were involved in the making of the film, including my DP, Daniel Cook. I want to thank my audio person, Ian Borkey. And I want to thank the cast, obviously. Dennis Hartman, I want to thank you. I want to thank my main actor, Matthew Sharp, who plays Jacob. He did a fantastic job. Everywhere the film has been screened, everyone constantly talks about him and praises his work. And I want to thank my other actor, Sarah El Hosseini. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Sarah did a wonderful job, and I'm really proud of her work in the film as well. I want to thank the school, Zaki Gordon Center, for providing the camera gear. I got to shoot my film on the red Helium 8K. I actually shot in 4K and 5K, not 8K, but I really got a lot of great gear for free to use for the film, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity. So I can't wait to see where things go. At this point in my career, I'm still writing novels, and I'm also still trying to figure out exactly what in the film industry I will be doing. My dream is to be a screenwriter and producer and director, basically. Writer, director, producer. But that's not an easy thing to do, because to be a producer is tricky. You have to have money for that, and so I don't have a lot of money to produce a film right now. To be a director is the trickiest, because you have to be hired for that unless you fund your own film. And to be a writer is actually the easiest, because there's no real gatekeeper, so to speak. If you want to write a film, you could just write it. However, you do have to sell the screenplay that you write if you want to make money. So we will see if Red Sprites and Blue Jets, I can get that screenplay to sell, and perhaps one day you'll see my novel as a feature film. And it's actually the same with Solomon Grando. I'm planning on turning that into a feature screenplay as well. So one day in the distant future, maybe I'll get a movie deal, perhaps. And I know that there's this sort of sacrilegious thing in the writing community where authors and screenwriters are separate. They're two separate worlds, and that is exactly correct. They are two separate worlds. Most people who are authors just want to be authors if their film, or their book rather, happens to get a movie deal. They're happy with it, but it's not something they're looking for. And I love writing books too, and I'm happy if my novels just stay novels. But as someone who has a foot in both worlds, as someone who is a novelist and screenwriter and now technically award-winning filmmaker, I'm one of the few people who has a legitimate foothold in both worlds. And I'm not really sure which world is going to take hold of me more so than the other. It's up in the air right now. We'll see. But I have a great respect for both mediums. I love film. I love novels, especially writing novels. It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's incredibly motivating and incentivizing, because basically when you write a novel, you know that with maybe a couple $100 or so of a budget, if you will, you can make it, right? You don't have to have, there's really no gatekeeper if you're self-publishing, which is why I recommend self-publishing. There's really not much of a gatekeeper. You can just write the novel, spend a little bit of money, put it out there, and you have the opportunity to make a living off of it. In film, it's a lot more complicated. It's still rewarding, but it is difficult because for a film like Solomon Grando versus the Jupiter Witch, I mean, that would probably be 80 to $100 million, because there's tons of visual effects that would be needed for the magic. It's got magic in it. It's got elaborate costumes and big sets. It would be a very expensive film to make. Red Sprites and Blue Jets wouldn't be as expensive, and I actually did. I actually did a full business plan for that film, like as if I was actually going to pitch it to a studio. Maybe I'll share that on the channel one day. We'll see. But it's writing books has incentivized me to get the story out there and get it done, to actually develop the characters, the plot, the world. And so right now I have a foothold in both worlds, the world of novel writing and the world of film. And I'm really excited to see where I go in both. I'm really not sure, but I'm really open-minded to see if I can win any more awards and perhaps make a living off of either one. Honestly, I would be eternally grateful for any opportunity to go full-time in either one of these industries. So anyway, that's a little bit about my film Snapshot. Like I said, it won a festival first place prize. It's really exciting. We'll see if it wins anymore. If not, I'm still incredibly thankful, and I'm still incredibly grateful for my cast and crew who helped me on the film. Thank you so much. Like I said, Solomon Grando versus the Jupiter Witch is coming out this fall. That's my next contemporary fantasy novel. And you can find out more on my website, andysilvers.com, or the Facebook page, Andy Silvers Books. And please like and subscribe. It really helps me when you do that. And leave a comment if there's anything in the writing or even film industry that you want me to talk about. So please be sure to do that. Thank you and have a great day.